Moon in the night sky. Castle of the White Demon. A woman floats in the air above the castle. Violet energy sways around her. At the foot of the castle on the bridge there is a guy with a sword in his hands. He's breathing heavily. The woman addresses the guy, calling him Saint White Demon Chen Bai. She reaches out and says his failure in the mission upset her. She tells him to perish. Chen Bai is horrified. He places his hand on his chest and shouts to the woman, calling her the Lady of All Darkness. He begs her to give him another chance because he has done so much for her. Tendrils of magic appear from under the bridge. The Lady of All Darkness says that Chen Bai has no right to ask for a second chance and that he will be consumed by darkness. She waves her hand. Tentacles of magic destroy the castle. They grab Chen Bai. He screams. He falls into the abyss along with the ruins of the castle. He thinks that he completed more than 100 missions for the Lady of All Darkness, but she erased him for just one mistake. Chen Bai's body begins to dissipate. He wonders if the Lady of All Darkness could have erased him because he is a pathetic person. He refuses to accept it. He falls into the water. Chen Bai's lower body dissipated. He's breathing heavily. He laughs loudly, looking up. His face begins to crack. He raises his head and shows his middle finger. He calls the Lady of All Darkness named Erlos and promises to take revenge on her. Erlos steps on his chest. Chen Bai goes underwater. Pitch darkness. Chen Bai's body dissipates. On his neck hangs a small hourglass with an infinity symbol. The sand is completely poured into the lower half of the clock. There is a rollback. Chen Bai ends up in bed and screams, calling Erlos names. He shows his middle finger. The sand in the clock was again in the upper half. Chen Bai freezes in disbelief. He realizes that he is not dead and asks himself where he is. He realizes that he is in a university dormitory. He sits on the top bunk of one of the beds in the room. On the lower tier there is a work desk with a laptop and books. He understands that Erlos did not kill him. He wonders if the years of training might have been a dream. He turns his attention to the hourglass. He recalls finding them 20 years ago when his journey began. This is the rarest item Chen Bai has ever encountered. The hourglass does not show any characteristics. It cannot be destroyed, so Chen Bai always carries it with him. The sand was always at the bottom even if Chen Bai turned the clock over, but now it is in the top half. Chen Bai notices the sand falling. He thinks time has turned back. He looks at his smartphone. He opens the calendar on his smartphone. The calendar highlights the 5th and 15th. Today is June 5th, 2032. Chen Bai understands that this is the date 10 days before he receives the universal task and begins his journey. A large blue spark appears in the purple sky. Chen Bai remembers that in 10 days he will receive a universal task and begin his journey. Then more than 90% of the world's population will die. In his memories, a crowd of people drops dead in the city center. Various monsters are flooding the city. The dead turn into zombies and other evil spirits. Modern weapons can't cope. The tragedy will happen in just one night. The weapon is covered in blood. However, along with the widespread extermination of humanity, some will awaken supernatural abilities. In a flash of blue lightning, a man in blue clothes spreads his arms. A white-haired man is holding a sword. Swords are circling in the air around him. A man in a jacket stretches out his hand, engulfed in flames. A girl in red clothes controls the magic of the wind. Many magical things will be scattered throughout the world. Blades, a magic book, a bow, and a sword appear in the frame. Some of the magical things belong to one of the gods of the new universe. Silhouettes of gods appear. The gods cannot directly influence the world, so they recruit servants who, by completing tasks, will be able to receive some bonuses from them. In his previous life, due to his weakness, Chen Bai was able to come under the protection of Erlos with great difficulty. Chen Bai carried out all her instructions, just to get the opportunity to improve his situation. Erlos stands with water on the surface of the water. Chen Bai could not think that one failed mission would destroy all his work. Chen Bai is drowning. Change of frame. Chen Bai reads news headlines on his smartphone. One of the headlines wonders if this is a new type of rabies or a zombie from the movie. The second headline says that patients in the hospital are going crazy and biting people. The third headline says that the pathologist has a corpse on his table. Chen Bai thinks that this time he must become stronger so as not to rely on the gods. He stands in a confident pose. He claims that this time he will crush any of the gods. He threatens Erlos, telling her to just wait. He recalls that 10 years after the incident, someone found the reason for the improvement in abilities. He understands that if a person can provoke the appearance of his abilities before the disaster, they can be improved. He puts on a medical mask and enters the hospital. He remembers that in his previous life he had resistance to E-rank viruses. Chen Bai walks down the hospital corridor. Chen Bai comes to the conclusion that he needs to infect himself with viruses to improve his ability. He hides in the corner and overhears the conversation between the doctor and the nurse. The doctor says that there has been no precedent for such strange symptoms. The nurse adds that she feels as if the patient has escaped from a movie. Chen Bai sneaks into the room. A patient infected with the virus lies on a bed. His veins were swollen. Chen Bai says that this is definitely a zombie. He is holding a syringe in his hands. He injects it into the patient's vein and draws his blood into a syringe. Chen Bai says that he will have to rely on this to improve his abilities. He thinks one syringe is enough for this. He returns to the dorm room. Chen Bai says there is no one, but the staff should stay the night. He takes out a syringe. He says that if the theory is wrong, then he will simply die here. He looks at the syringe. He decides that he doesn't care, because after decades of stagnation, he has a chance to progress. He injects the patient's blood into his arm. Chen Bai thinks that if he becomes an E rank again, he will lose everything again, so he would rather die now than become a weakling again. A terrible pain permeates him. He is holding his hand. He falls to the floor, breathing heavily. Change of frame. He is on all fours in front of Erlos. She encourages him not to resist and to become part of the darkness. He screams that he cannot give up and vows to destroy Erlos. Change of frame. Chen Bai goes out to the balcony. The door opens. Chen Bai turns around. There is blood flowing from his mouth and eyes. He has empty, white eye sockets. The three people who entered scream in horror. One of them asks what happened and calls him by name. His pupils return. He is surprised. Everyone is silent. Chen Bai then smiles with relief, realizing that the three who entered have returned. Chen Bai says he is going to take a shower. He walks into the bathroom and looks in the mirror with a grin. He realizes that everything worked and the zombie virus did not kill him. He wonders how much his ability level has increased since awakening. A sign appears in the air, announcing that Chen Bai has achieved pioneer status and received an early awakening. Chen Bai looks around, realizing that it is the voice of the universe and that he has already awakened. He reaches out to the table to look at the characteristics. Pioneer status can only be obtained by a person who is able to awaken abilities before the start of the blessing. All of Chen Bai's stats have been increased by 5%. The amount of experience gained has been increased by 10%. Characteristics are assigned before the main awakening. Chen Bai grins at the statuses and enhancements. He's glad to have the stats panel available to him. He squeezes the shell so hard that it cracks. He has the divine status of the king of SSS viruses. Chen Bai stands with purple magical energy behind him. Virus King is the most powerful ability of the virus class. With its help, you can absorb, genetically modify and create viruses. Chen Bai stands with tentacles of magic around him. For now, Chen Bai can only absorb viruses at close range. He looks at his hand, which is surrounded by purple magic. He needs more viruses to improve his ability. He decides that a hospital is the best place to look for pathogens. He comes to the hospital. People are running out of the hospital screaming, being chased by monsters. One man shouts that it's a zombie. Chen Bai remembers that in his previous life, after awakening, he heard about 3 strange incidents in Zhongcheng City. One of them was the case of a closed hospital, near which Chen Bai stands. He runs towards the monsters. He jumps on one of the monsters. He uses the Virus King's ability called Absorption. Absorbing a virus gives 1 virus upgrade point to strengthen. Chen Bai's hand is surrounded by purple magic. He looks at the crowd of monsters and says that no one will escape their fate. Change of frame. Meanwhile, in the toilet on the 4th floor, the monster knocks on the toilet stall where the guy is hiding. He thinks in horror that the door won't hold up for long and he has nowhere to run. He turns around and sees a nurse sitting on the floor. She cries and calls the guy Director Liu. He's shaking. The nurse asks what's wrong with him. He grins hysterically and says that he courted the nurse for a long time, but she always refused. He wants to enjoy her since they will die soon anyway. She calls him Liu Feng and covers herself with her hand, shouting that he is crazy. The monster bursts into the booth. Liu Feng grabs the nurse and throws her at the monster. He runs to the window. The monster runs after him. Liu Feng runs to the window. The monster grabs him. Liu Feng flies headfirst into the window and falls unconscious. A couple of minutes later, monsters are lying on the floor. Chen Bai walks through the hospital, absorbing viruses. He finds a nurse who has just been bitten. He uses absorption on her. He thinks the military will soon cordon off the hospital, so he needs someone who knows the area around it. He wonders if maybe if he absorbed all the virus from the nurse, she wouldn't become a zombie. He does it. The nurse gasps and stands up. She thanks Chen Bai. He says she hasn't completely lost her mind. The nurse remembers what happened. Chen Bai asks for help. The nurse agrees, but she needs to change clothes. She covers a torn medical gown. Chen Bai says that there is no time for this and demands that he be taken to where all the viruses are stored. He grabs her hand and drags her away. There is a corpse in the corridor. The nurse says that the laboratory stores all the hospital's viruses, but the samples are from patients in this room. Chen Bai says that's enough. The nurse asks in surprise what he's up to. He tells her to be quiet and mixes the samples in a container. He uses absorption. Absorbing hepatitis for the first time adds 10 points. Absorbing the flu for the first time adds 0.7 points. Sucking a herpes for the first time adds 9 points. Absorbing HIV for the first time adds 10 points. He looks at his hand and thinks that he will now strengthen the zombie virus thanks to the rest of the viruses. He closes his eyes and does it. He thinks this is the best time to improve his strength. The zombie virus evolves into a virus of light and darkness. All characteristics increase by 10 points. Self-healing ability is increased by 200%. The core of the virus was successfully acquired for further development. Chen Bai thinks that the light and darkness virus is designed to be absorbed and evolved. The nurse shouts that the zombie is already at the door. Chen Bai opens his eyes. He tells her to stand here. The monster enters the room. Chen Bai grabs him. The nurse is surprised. Chen Bai thinks that the monster is fast and weighs about 75 kilograms, but this is not a problem. He holds him by the neck. This is a good opportunity for Chen Bai to test his strength. He uses evolutionary absorption. The monster is engulfed by tentacles and consumed. Chen Bai grins and thinks that it was good and fast, and his stamina was restored. The nurse is terrified. Chen Bai asks what's wrong with a smirk. The nurse sighs. She says Chen Bai saved her, so if he doesn't touch her, she won't reveal his secret. Chen Bai says his name and extends his hand to the nurse. The nurse introduces herself as Su Zin. There is a noise. Chen Bai says that these are the military and police who will cordon off the building and kill all the zombies, so they need to leave. They run out into the corridor. Chen Bai holds Su Zin's hand and shouts at her to take him to the roof where they will escape. She asks why they can't go out directly. He says they don't have time to be captured by the military. A huge mutant appears from the ceiling. Chen Bai pushes the surprised Su Zin aside. The mutant scratches his arm and screams. The mutant stands in the corridor in front of Chen Bai and Su Zin. Blood drips from Chen Bai's hand. There are 3 deep scratches on it. He grins. He finds it interesting that there is a mutant here. He wonders how the dark and light virus branch will develop if Chen Bai absorbs the mutant. The mutant swings at Chen Bai, then slams his hands onto the floor. Chen Bai jumps away, dodges and kicks the mutant's head. Chen Bai flies behind the mutant. The mutant misses him with his hand. Chen Bai uses magic to attract the bodies of monsters into his hands. The mutant screams in rage. Chen Bai says that it seems that he and the mutant are equal in strength. He consumes the monster. He swings his fist and attacks the mutant in the chest, pushing him into the wall. Su Zin sits on the side. Chen Bai takes a step back, noticing that the mutant turned out to be strong. He jumps back. The mutant falls face down on the floor. The mutant stands up in a cloud of dust with a menacing growl. Chen Bai understands that there is no effect and he will have to deal with the mutant for a long time. Treatment. Su Zin breaks the glass of the fire shield with her elbow. She takes out a fire axe and calls Chen Bai. He turns around. She throws him an axe. The mutant runs towards Chen Bai with his mouth open. Chen Bai dodges the mutant's claws and grabs an axe. He tells Su Zin that it was not bad and that they will make it through quickly. He jumps on the mutant and cuts his chest with an axe. Chen Bai jumps to the side. He fights with the mutant, repelling his attacks with an axe. Chen Bai kicks off the floor and swings his axe, screaming at the mutant to die. Chen Bai throws an axe at the mutant. Chen Bai crouches to the ground as the axe flies through the air. He says with a grin that it's surprising the mutant is still standing. Chen Bai grabs the axe and rests his foot on the mutant's head. He tells the mutant to patch up his wounds, otherwise there will be a high stone on the grave. Chen Bai swings his arms. The mutant goes wild. His eyes glow red. The mutant sharply pushes and pins Chen Bai against the wall. Blood sprays from Chen Bai's mouth. Su Zin screams. The axe lands not far from her. The mutant is about to tear Chen Bai apart. Chen Bai thinks that he is now on his deathbed. He smirks and asks the mutant if he wants to rip it apart. The mutant opens his mouth in shock. Tentacles emerge from Chen Bai's chest and entangle the mutant. Chen Bai uses absorption. He taunts, asking if the mutant has only now realized that it is too late to resist. Su Zin sits to the side and watches as Chen Bai, frozen in the air, absorbs the mutant. She is relieved and says that Chen Bai is great. Absorption of zombies with claws at the second stage of evolution is completed. Chen Bai lands on his feet. The virus of light and darkness is mutating. Chen Bai develops purple claws. Got a new ability, claws. Chen Bai smirks that he has mastered the absorption and that the light and darkness virus has mutated. He looks at his clawed hand and says he made the right choice. Soldiers with weapons run into the room and order them to raise their hands. Chen Bai looks at them. He turns to Su Zin. The soldiers begin to count to 3. Chen Bai takes the embarrassed Su Zin in his arms and tells her that they need to go. The soldiers count to 3 and open fire. Chen Bai runs with Su Zin in his arms. She says that after turning right there is an exit to the roof. He turns right. Bullets hit him. Su Zin tells him this with concern. Chen Bai replies that he knows about it, but tells her to stay still and remain silent. They go out onto the roof of the hospital. Chen Bai asks Su Zin where she lives. She replies that she lives in the Rongfeng district along the 4th Northern Longitudinal, Nanbai Street. Chen Bai accepts her answer. Su Zin gets scared and screams. Chen Bai jumps into the air, holding her in his arms. Rongfeng district along the 4th Northern Longitudinal, Nanbai Street. Su Zin opens the door with the key. She tells Chen Bai where the bath is and wants to help bandage his wounds. He replies that the bullets have already come out and the wounds have healed, so everything is fine. She insists worriedly. He agrees with a grin. They are sitting in the bathroom. Chen Bai's clothes are on the floor. Su Zin is embarrassed and shows where there is still a mark on Chen Bai's body. She looks at his torso. She says his chest and abs haven't fully healed yet. Chen Bai says with a grin that if he eats Su Zin, he will immediately recover. He asks her if she will sacrifice her body. She sheepishly replies that he will not eat her, because if he wanted to, he would have already done it. He leans towards her and says that he was just waiting for the right situation. She is confused. He says that now he is happy with everything. He rips her clothes off. He asks if the offer is tempting. She sheepishly replies that he should wash himself first and then eat her. Chen Bai agrees and kisses her. They take a shower together. A smartphone buzzes in another room. Messages are coming to him. The first message is from Zhao Mu, in which the question is where Chen Bai is, because Song Ji has already searched him. Second message from Song Ji. She asks if Chen Bai really died, because his neighbors said that he ran away to the hospital. Chen Bai walks through the city. Strange events began to occur in the city of Zhongcheng long before the Great Awakening. An incident in the hospital, a bombing of the region, a massacre with monsters. He knows little about all these events. There is practically no information about what happens before awakening. Even ordinary people do not pay any attention to this, only sometimes it comes up in dialogue. Chen Bai says he has a headache. He calls Su Zin and says that he bought food and will come soon. She replies that 2 strange men came and said that Song Ziqiang wants to see Chen Bai. She adds that this is strange because Song Ziqiang is the queen of Zhongcheng. Su Zin asks what she should do. Chen Bai replies that it is true and let the men wait outside. Su Zin agrees. Chen Bai thinks that Song Ziqiang is Song Ji's mother, who somehow still communicates with him. He looks at Song Ji's worried messages. He wonders if Song Ji had to involve her mother. He decides that since she knows where Song Ji is, he needs to visit her. Regional refrigerated warehouse. Song Ziqiang rose from rags to riches, succeeding in both legal and illegal activities. After awakening, she gained a rank abilities and was able to quickly gain power. Chen Bai gets out of the car. He is accompanied by 2 men in jackets. Ultimately, Song Ziqiang won the 3-way competition and achieved true queen status. In his previous life, Chen Bai could only rely on her. She appears to be a woman with short dark hair. Chen Bai thinks that if he can win Song Ziqiang over to his side, he can do more before awakening. Chen Bai, accompanied by a man in a jacket, approaches Song Ziqiang. District refrigerated warehouse, corridor. A man in a jacket bows and reports that Chen Bai has arrived. Song Ziqiang, queen of Zhongcheng, regrets forcing Chen Bai to come here, but she had no choice. There is a green-haired girl standing behind Song Ziqiang. Chen Bai asks why Song Ziqiang needed him. She straightens his jacket. She replies that Song Ji informed her that Chen Bai was missing in the hospital and asked for help. Song Ziqiang says that she called Chen Bai here to find out who made Song Ji so worried and what attracted her. Chen Bai says that he doesn't like to talk unrelatedly and asks why she needed him. She says that he is stubborn and that she also does not like to talk irrelevantly. She taps her foot and asks Chen Bai if he will belong to her. She adds that if he loves Song Ji, then there is no problem in becoming a son-in-law. He doubts that this is the reason for luring him to Song Ziqiang. She turns to him with a smile. She says that after seeing his heroic act in the hospital, anyone will want such powers. Chen Bai is dumbfounded when he hears about the hospital. He mutters that he has definitely destroyed all power sources. He asks how Song Ziqiang found him so quickly. She tells him not to underestimate her and presses the elevator button. She adds that while Chen Bai was between the dining room and the observation room, her people could be watching him. She takes out her phone. She says that she has her own people in the hospital. She shows correspondence with a green-haired girl named Ollie. Ollie writes that she is locked in the observation room and there are many zombies at the door. Song Zikyong replies that he will send someone to get her. Ollie writes his location. A few minutes later she writes that she's okay because some guy killed all the zombies. Song Zikyong asks again in surprise. Ollie writes that she filmed it and sends the video. Song Zikyong tells Chen Bai that she was lucky among the survivors to find a person well acquainted with Su Zin named Liu Feng. Chen Bai recognizes this name. Last night at Su Zin's house, Chen Bai lies in bed with Su Zin. He asks about Liu Feng, who tried to abuse Su Zin and pushed her to be eaten by zombies. She replies that Liu Feng pushed her and tried to go out the window. The zombie grabbed Liu Feng, so Liu Feng flew headfirst into the window and stopped moving. Chen Bai is surprised because he thought Liu Feng was dead. Su Zin rests her head on Chen Bai's chest. She says that it would be better if Liu Feng were really dead. She blushes and looks at Chen Bai. She says she feels good and offers to continue. Chen Bai looks at her with one eye. He says he didn't expect her to scream like that the first time. She apologizes. He tells her not to worry because there is still a lot of time ahead. She protests because she must please her savior. District refrigerated warehouse, corridor near elevator F1. Chen Bai asks Song Zikyong where the isolated survivors are. She replies that she will tell only when he becomes hers. He says she doesn't appreciate him. She replies that this is true because she cannot determine the level of his abilities because she knows too little about him. Chen Bai steps aside. He says that Song Zikyong simply does not understand him, otherwise she would not have offered him to belong to her. He releases his magical claws. He says that he wants Song Zikyong to belong to him. Song Zikyong is amazed, asking if this is a mutation of the zombie virus. Ollie blocks Song Zikyong with himself. Chen Bai releases purple energy. He says that if Song Zikyong agrees to belong to him, he will show her everything. Song Zikyong replies that he underestimates her and his claws are not enough to defeat her. She steps forward in front of Ollie. She says Chen Bai already has a young nurse. He doesn't need an older woman. He walks up to her and puts his hand on her chin. He says no one can resist such a lady. He adds that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, but before the apocalypse, Song Zikyong can help him more than Su Zin. She asks about the apocalypse due to several zombies. He replies that zombies are just the beginning. She says he knows a lot. He replies that he knows more than she realizes. She says they are the type who don't give up easily. She invites him to team up, her resources in exchange for his knowledge. He agrees and adds that Song Zikyong would still be difficult to defeat. They shake hands. Their faces are close. She says with a smirk that Chen Bai can stand up to her. She tells him to try his best. It sounds like a crash. Everyone turns around in surprise. Chen Bai recognizes the sound of gunfire. Song Zikyong says that Commander Huang of Zhongcheng City sent Commander Zhao to negotiate with her last night. She adds that they have privatized part of the warehouses to hold live zombies and people rescued from the hospital. She shakes hands with a man in blue clothes. She clarifies whether the shooting occurred on their side. She adds that there are about 30 weak zombies there and they are guarded by half the company. Chen Bai didn't expect others to understand so quickly that low temperatures slowed down zombies. He understands that others do not even realize that the chance of mutation increases in extreme situations. He thinks about refrigerators and mutations. He realizes that the area could be bombed. He readily offers to go check everything out. Ollie and Song Zikyong look at him in surprise. Chen Bai wonders what mutation awaits him. Change of frame. People attack the monster. A man throws a grenade. A cloud of dust rises. The monster is unharmed, growls and squeezes a man in his hand. Commander Zhao says the weapons are useless. He orders them to split into small groups and distract the monster to themselves in order to hold out until reinforcements. Song Zikyong approaches him. She tells Zhao to order a ceasefire and retreat. He asks in bewilderment what she is doing here. She says that they cannot penetrate the monster, so they must retreat to avoid heavy losses. In the background, people shoot back at the monster. She says Zhao ordered the warehouse workers and survivors to be removed from the hospital. He replies that this is impossible, because the monster is too fast and it will not be possible to restrain it. The monster swings to grab Lu Lai, who has fallen to the ground. Song Zikyong says that there is no need to be afraid of the monster, because they have bigger fish to fry. Chen Bai stops the monster's hand. The soldiers help Lu Lai up. Chen Bai says he almost twisted his arm. He notices that the monster is gigantic, so brute force is not enough. The monster swings. Chen Bai releases his claws and runs up the monster's arm, scratching it. The monster falls. Chen Bai lands on his feet. He stands opposite the monster. The monster breaks a hole in the building. Song Ziqiang and Zhao watch. Zhao asks her in shock if she is really raising a monster like Chen Bai. She replies with a smile that Chen Bai is a person and her partner. Chen Bai stands on a pile of meat. He tells the monster that he cannot eat this meat because it will be a waste of food. He eats meat. The monster swings at Chen Bai in rage. Song Ziqiang stands next to Zhao outside and covers his head with his hand. Chen Bai receives a system notification that a large amount of raw beef has been consumed. He jumps out of the building. The virus of darkness and light has mutated, increasing strength and endurance. Chen Bai notes that he has regained his strength and increased his level. He sees that the monster is exhausted and is trying to recover. The monster is swarming around. Chen Bai releases his claws and swings his arms, shouting that the moment of death of the monster has come. The monster turns around. Chen Bai hits him in the head. Song Ziqiang and Zhao are surprised. Chen Bai punches the monster in the face and straightens up. He looks back and says that everything happened on time. He begins to consume the monster with purple tentacles. Zhao is horrified. Chen Bai smirks and continues to absorb the monster. Zhao mutters that a person is not capable of such a thing. He grins and says that everything is fine, because the monster and Chen Bai are both immobilized. Song Ziqiang is wary. Zhao shouts into the radio and asks for reinforcements. He requires an urgent bombardment of the coordinates. He doesn't have time to name the coordinates. Song Ziqiang pats him on the shoulder. He turns around tensely. Song Ziqiang tells Zhao to be calm and think again, because Chen Bai is saving everyone. Ollie is standing behind. Song Ziqiang warns Zhao not to do anything stupid, otherwise it will end sadly. 10 minutes later, the soldiers surround Chen Bai and point their guns at him. Zhao commands the soldiers to reload and get ready. Song Ziqiang reminds him of the promise. Zhao replies that as long as Chen Bai does not attack, the order cannot be given. Chen Bai stands with his eyes closed. A system notification appears. The first consumption of a mountain of meat mutated the virus. Purchased entry-level enhancement, 500 development points. The king of viruses talent, infection, has been unlocked. Chen Bai opens his eyes. The system reports that the absorption of zombies the size of a meat mountain has led to the mutation and strengthening of the dark and light virus. Chen Bai extends his mutated hand forward. She's purple and has big claws. The system reports that the hammer is unlocked. Chen Bai clenches his hand into a fist. He realizes that he has indeed mutated. He stands with mutated hands. He feels that the hammer has incredible power, but cannot try it now. He recalls that this was the biggest catch of the day. His hands become normal. He holds in his hand the red core of a mountain of meat. He thinks that this core is very rare and can be used to create equipment. He suggests that if a way to control it can be found, walls of flesh and blood can be built that will expand indefinitely. He looks at the core. He thinks about feeding the cannonball to someone to test the walls in action. He grins. Song Ziqiang addresses Chen Bai. He hides the cannonball in his jacket pocket. Song Ziqiang introduces Lu Lai to him. Lu Lai stands smiling. Chen Bai says he knows her because she is a famous journalist and popular on the internet. He asks if she was the one who took photos of him from the hospital. Lu Lai says it was her. She thanks him for saving her twice. Chen Bai asks if she has a recording of him killing the mutant. She replies that due to occupational deformation she could already remove them. He tells him not to send the recordings to anyone because he has a great use for them. She agrees. Zhao turns to Chen Bai. He reports that Commander Huang demands that Chen Bai come to his office and tell him everything that is known about the current situation. Chen Bai looks at Zhao thoughtfully. Chen Bai remembers Commander Huang's name, Huang Xingqiu. He remembers the menacing face of Huang Xingqiu. Chen Bai recalls that after the tests, the weak awakened ones were placed in cages and treated like unwanted dogs. At first, Huang Xingqiu wallowed in his justice, and then he began to mock people. Chen Bai remembers Huang Xingqiu beating a girl with a whip in front of other people. Chen Bai was one of the weak awakened ones and was constantly working, so he could not even eat properly. He thinks that Huang Xingqiu called the man a traitor to his homeland for trying to escape and dealt with him mercilessly. He remembers walking through the city with a large backpack. He says that because of Huang Xingqiu he had to leave the city. Chen Bai remembers leaving. Change of frame. Chen Bai asks Song Ziqiang if he should go. She replies that no, because she doesn't know how it will turn out. Chen Bai sighs. She says she will sort it out. She approaches Zhao. He hopes that Song Ziqiang understands the degree of responsibility towards the citizens of Long Country. Song Ziqiang comes close to the barricade of bags in front of Zhao. She curses at Zhao and says that he doesn't dare communicate with her in such a tone. She adds that Zhao has not even reached the level of company commander. She tells Zhao to tell Wang Xingqiu to come himself if he needs it that much. Zhao is confused. A soldier runs up. He reports that a riot broke out in the isolated area. He asks what should they do. Zhao is scared. Chen Bai asks if Liu Feng is in the isolation area. Zhao replies that he doesn't know. The soldier replies that Liu Feng is there and that he is the most violent. Chen Bai says that he needs to meet Liu Feng in person. Zhao tells the soldier to escort Chen Bai. The soldier salutes. Change of frame. Liu Feng comes out to meet Zhao, Chen Bai and Song Ziqiang. Liu Feng with an insolent face says that his father Liu Huiyang is the deputy chief physician of the hospital. Chen Bai places his hand on Liu Feng's shoulder. A system notification about a zombie virus infection appears. Small tentacles appear between Chen Bai's arm and Liu Feng's shoulder. Chen Bai says that he was looking for Liu Feng, and they need to discuss something. Chen Bai has purple eyes. Liu Feng is surprised. Chen Bai says that he talked to Su Zin yesterday. He says that because Liu Feng abandoned Su Zin and turned her into a zombie, she wishes Liu Feng a speedy death. Chen Bai says this directly to Liu Feng's face. Liu Feng is surprised. He asks how Chen Bai knew since Su Zin should be dead. Chen Bai takes a few steps back. He yells for everyone to move back because Liu Feng is now mutating into a zombie. The soldiers and Zhao raise their weapons. Liu Feng shouts to Chen Bai in bewilderment that he is deceiving and will now become a zombie himself. He shouts that Chen Bai is playing with him and Su Zin couldn't do something together with Chen Bai. He doesn't finish speaking and raises his hand. Purple tentacles emerge from his shoulder. He begins to wheeze. Tentacles cover his face. His eyes widen. He lunges at Chen Bai with a growl. Liu Feng's hand turns purple, infected with the virus. He has white eye sockets. Chen Bai activates his hammer ability. His hand turns purple. He hits Liu Feng. Zhao's cap falls to the ground due to the wind after Chen Bai's sharp swing. Chen Bai looks at the hand and thinks that it was not bad and that the hammer is stronger than he thought. Zhao wonders in shock how Chen Bai could do this with one blow, and whether he is even human. Eyes with a smile that everything depends only on her. Change of frame. A white car is driving through the city. Ollie is driving. The front passenger seat is occupied by Lu Lai. In the back seats are Song Ziqiang and Chen Bai. Song Ziqiang tells Chen Bai that it was a good time for her to invite him to dinner. He tells her not to disturb him until they reach her house. She agrees. Chen Bai mentally wonders if he got something worthwhile for defeating the meat monster. It opens the awards panel. Two purple icons appear, one of them with a core of a mountain of meat, the second with 2 books. Chen Bai thinks he is lucky to get 2 skill books. A system alert appears. It gives a description of one of the skill books. This is the active skill Bloodlust. It gives +3 to all stats for 10 minutes. The rollback takes a day, during which all indicators are reduced by 50%. Chen Bai doubts that this skill will be useful to him. The second book gives the passive skill Skin Growth. It doubles the amount of muscle mass in the body, giving an increase in strength. Chen Bai thinks that this is not the best option either. He remembers a person with such a skill who was strong but lacked dexterity. He thinks that even if these skills are useless now, they will come in handy sooner or later. He believes that it is worth thinking about allies. He thinks that strength needs to be gathered now. A system notification appears stating that Chen Bai has 6 gold, 35 silver, 6 bronze coins on his balance. He thinks that the mutant gave him 6 gold coins, which is enough to create the first chat. He plans to immediately invite people there so that they have time to prepare before awakening. A system notification appears asking if Chen Bai wants to create a chat for 5 gold. He presses the agree button. He believes that after awakening it will be difficult to find people, so it is better to get in touch with them now. A system notification informs you that the chat status has been assigned to 1. It asks you to enter a name. If you cancel the entry, the name will be assigned automatically. Chen Bai erases the name. A system notification informs you that the chat has been named Chat 1. Chen Bai imagines Erlos in front of him. He promises her to rebuild his white palace and call it God's land. He grins and thinks about making Erlos his lousy slave. 3 hours later, the residence of the Song family, a modern house with panoramic windows, appears. Song Ziqiang thoughtfully retells Chen Bai's off-screen words. She says that there will be space exercises and 90% of people will become monsters, which will then drop useful things. She adds that there will be electrical and weapon failure. Chen Bai is sitting on the sofa. He laces his fingers together and says that's all the information he can provide for now. He believes this will be enough to give him an advantage later. Song Ziqiang replies no. She asks to get down to business and asks if Chen Bai is doing all this so she can start working for him. Chen Bai waves his hand, looking to the side. He says it's for the sake of strength and opportunity. He adds that this is also for the sake of honesty, because a beloved dog must be faithful to its owner. Song Zikyong frowns. She says that fidelity is only possible. She confidently adds that according to the criterion of strength, she fits perfectly because she has power, wealth, status, and in the city there are no people equal to her. Chen Bai replies that after awakening, the values will be completely different. He tells Song Zikyong that all her advantages will be destroyed and she will be made a slave. He remembers the auction. Song Zikyong and Lu Lai were suspended in the air, tied by the arms to the beam. A crowd gathered in front of them. The auction host shouted that the next lot was the queen of the city and her princess. He added that everyone had dreamed about this long before awakening and offered to take the queen home. Song Zikyong is wary. She asks what is the difference between a dog and people who have become toys in Chen Bai's hands. He replies that the dog is told to do everything to realize opportunities without the direct intervention of the owner. He adds that he will remain stronger than Song Zikyong. She waves her hand with a grin. She asks that if she doubts Chen Bai again, she will definitely lose this wonderful opportunity. Song Zikyong takes a step to the side. She kneels on one knee in front of Chen Bai. She swears eternal fidelity and calls Chen Bai her master. He talks down at her. He notices that Song Zikyong's status and capabilities have suddenly become more useful, which is very interesting. He leans towards her and takes her chin. He tells her to let her beauty be seen. She tenses up. Chen Bai adds that he has something to ask her. Change of frame. Lu Lai is sitting on the sofa with a smartphone in her hands. She is surprised. Ollie stands a little behind with a smartphone in his hands. She is reading chat 1. Song Zikyong sends a message. She tells Ollie to ask Lu Lai to send her the video of Chen Bai while it is still possible. Song Zikyong notes that Lu Lai has been very exhausted these 2 days, so she should be sent home to rest. In the next message, Song Zikyong tells Ollie to find someone who will constantly post Chen Bai content on the forum. The topic of the post should be Pioneer and the user ID is called White King of the Beginning. Ollie reads the messages. She puts the phone away and walks over to Lu Lai. She asks Lu Lai to send her the video and go home. Lu Lai asks in surprise whether they need her help. Ollie says that these 2 days have been very difficult, so Lu Lai should go home and recuperate. Lu Lai looks at the phone with a smile. She agrees. She adds that although she was almost chewed up today, she was not as tense as when she first encountered the walkers. She says this could be because she has already subconsciously accepted the possibility of death at the hands of zombies. She remembers how Chen Bai fought off the monster's attack. She adds that maybe it was Chen Bai's power and strength that calmed her down. Change of frame. Song Zikyong's daughter's contact calls on her smartphone. Chen Bai answers the call. Song Ji walks through the city. She speaks into the phone, thinking it is Song Zikyong. Song Ji asks why she needs to go home and what happened. Chen Bai says it's him. Song Ji asks why he has Song Zikyong's phone and what he did to her. Chen Bai says with a grin that Song Zikyong doesn't have time to talk to Song Ji. He tells her to go home because he has something important to do. Song Ji agrees, but adds that Chen Bai will answer for all the messages she sends to him. She doesn't finish speaking because Chen Bai hangs up the call. She blushes and curses, saying that she will make Chen Bai bow to her sooner or later. Song Zikyong sits on the floor kneeling in front of Chen Bai. His hand is on her head. She asks him if he can protect her daughter too. He replies that she is weak and very spoiled. He says that if Song Zikyong tries hard, then after awakening, he will not allow Song Ji to turn into a monster. Song Zikyong blushes and looks up at him. She thanks him. Change of frame. Cash. Song Ji and Song Zikyong are sitting in the car. Song Ji tells Song Zikyong that she cannot allow Chen Bai to deceive her and do such obscene things. Song Zikyong replies that this is why she forbade Song Ji to look for Chen Bai yesterday. She tells Song Ji to be quiet and watch Chen Bai when they get out of the car. Song Ji agrees. Until the owners and players turned into monsters. She says there are about 160 people there, but no special specimens like the meat mutant have been discovered. Chen Bai replies that he understands. He wonders if this could be a zombie farm. He thinks that this cannot be, because the hospital was indoors, and they almost lost against the meat mutant. He looks at the secret warehouse. He thinks it will be difficult to remember what happened in the middle of this remote place. He asks Ollie that she went to all the places where there were rumors about zombies, and they led her to a secret warehouse. She confirms that she did. Song Zikyong, Song Ji, Su Zin and Lu Lai are standing near the car behind Ollie and Chen Bai. He assumes that someone is collecting monsters in this secret warehouse. All the military only dared to capture a couple of dozen zombies. They decided to gather everyone. Chen Bai asks if maybe some daredevil decided to do this or if it was the work of another pioneer. He's interested. Chen Bai stretches his hands and says to open the entrance to the secret warehouse. The gate is opened by 2 workers. The huge crowd of zombies immediately runs out of the secret warehouse, scaring the workers. The zombies run towards Chen Bai, raising clouds of dust into the air. Chen Bai kicks one of the zombies. Su Xin films this on her phone. Song Ji is horrified. After some time, Chen Bai uses absorption on one of the zombies. A system notification appears indicating that more than 300 zombies have been killed. Chen Bai received a new title. He stands on a mountain of lifeless zombie bodies. A system notification notifies that Chen Bai has been promoted to E-class zombie killer status. He receives +5 to all characteristics and +5% to damage against zombies. The system notifies that Chen Bai has received 500 zombie viroids, allowing him to exchange the viroids for zombie blood serum and the talent tree. A new genome formula appears. Chen Bai walks down the mountain of bodies, looking at the notice. He thinks about the zombie genome. He thinks it's good. He remembers that before this, even after waking up, he had a chance to catch the zombie virus. The system offers to open zombie blood serum. Chen Bai presses the agree button and spends 300 viroids. He thinks about the fact that not all people have immunity to the disease, as well as a virus that opens up incredible physical abilities. Chen Bai calls the others inside the secret warehouse. He asks Song Ziqiang if she remembers what he told her before leaving. Song Ziqiang confidently replies that he remembers. She is holding a bat in her hands. Behind her stands Ollie, Su Xin and a frightened Song Ji. Song Ziqiang says that killing a zombie with a bladed weapon will reduce the chance of it turning into a monster after awakening. She slams the bat down on her free hand. She adds that the main thing is to kill the zombies with your own hands, avoiding bites. Chen Bai grabs one zombie by the scruff of the neck and hands it to the others. He wants to see what they can do. He says to come one by one and asks who will be first. Ollie volunteers to go first. She adjusts her glove with a serious look. Chen Bai releases the zombies. The zombie runs towards Ollie. She runs towards the zombie and raises her hand. She grabs a zombie and throws it over herself. The zombie falls to the ground. Blood sprays from his mouth. Chen Bai says Ollie is fast and cruel. Song Ziqiang hits the zombie with a bat. The zombie falls to the ground. Song Ziqiang finishes him off with a blow to the head with a bat. Chen Bai watches. He notes that it was not possible to kill with 1 blow, but with 10 it was possible. Change of frame. The zombie lies unconscious. Next to him lies a breathless Su Xin. Chen Bai watches. He notes that she is too weak to fight off the zombies, but was able to kill him because she knew how the human body works. Song Ziqiang encourages Song Ji to attack the zombies. Song Ji is absolutely terrified and clutches his bat. Tears are flowing from her eyes. She sits on the ground on her knees, having wet herself. She screams in hysterics that she cannot attack. Song Ziqiang approaches her worriedly. Chen Bai watches from afar. He says it's a failure. He tells everyone to leave. Song Ziqiang turns around, distracted from the crying Song Ji. She catches up with Chen Bai. He says that Ollie went to all the places where zombies were rumored to be, but to no avail. He thinks this is strange, so he instructs Song Ziqiang to go and check everything herself. She agrees. She wants to ask Chen Bai about Song Ji. Chen Bai interrupts her. He rudely says that he doesn't care and that he doesn't have the desire or time to help Song Ji, so Song Ziqiang will have to train Song Ji on her own. Song Ziqiang reminds that she does not have the power to protect against the virus. Chen Bai hands the surprised Song Ziqiang a piece of paper. She asks what is this. She looks at a piece of paper and sees chemical and biological data. She is surprised by how complex the structure of this genome is. Chen Bai says that she can create her own genome by replacing elements. He adds that this is the value of the formulas of various potions. Song Ziqiang thanks him for his generosity and folds up the piece of paper. She says that she will do everything to fulfill this receipt. She vows to treasure the formula like the apple of her eye. Chen Bai tells her to begin the task and reminds her to send someone to him. Song Ziqiang bows and says that he will send Ollie to him. Change of frame. Chen Bai looks at his smartphone. He notes that many people have already read his message on the forum. He never expected that so many pioneers would contact him. He reads comments on his smartphone. A person with the nickname Crazy Foliage writes that he saw the White King. A man with the nickname Cancer Fighter, 30 years old, writes that he thinks that Chen Bai can solve his problems and asks him to write to him. A person with the nickname Bus writes that it's good to be a pioneer, but it's even better to be a licker. A person with the nickname Forum Constructor attaches 3 pictures as attachments. Chen Bai frowns in disgust. Then he notices something on the smartphone. A stranger with the nickname I'm Not Worth It writes that he is also a pioneer and asks Chen Bai to tell him everything. In the next message, he asks why Chen Bai is not responding and if he saw the message. Chen Bai wonders who this idiot is. He starts chatting with a stranger. The stranger asks where Chen Bai is and asks him to answer what it's like to be a pioneer. Chen Bai asks what the stranger's talent is. The stranger was confused. Chen Bai writes that he is not a telepath to guess the talent of a stranger. The stranger writes to Chen Bai to go to his chat one, where the entire database is. He adds that if there are any questions, Chen Bai can write to him. A notification appears on the smartphone that Heng Sao has joined the chat. Chen Bai wonders who it is. Heng Sao writes in the chat that he will change his name first. A person with the nickname Your Eastern Sheikh asks if he can invite other people. Chen Bai clarifies what kind of people they are. A person with the nickname Your Eastern Sheikh replies that there is a person named Mizukawa who contacted him in private messages. He adds that Mizukawa asked him what he knew, but because he doesn't know anything, Mizukawa misunderstood everything. Chen Bai asks who Mizukawa is. He remembers in surprise that Mizukawa was the one who received the title of the strongest waterbender of them all. Chen Bai is pleased. He quickly types out a message. He writes that Mizukawa can be added to the chat, because if we can attract more pioneers, it will only be better. Chen Bai chuckles contentedly. A notification appears indicating that Mizukawa has joined the chat. Change of frame. 8:30 in the evening. Lu Lai is standing in the alley, leaning against the wall. She is talking on the phone with Song Ziqiang. Song Ziqiang asks Lu Lai how the investigation is going. Lu Lai says that government chief Jiang Chen's forces are to blame for everything. She adds that they are rounding up all the zombies and sending them to the Mankai warehouse at the pier. She says she has sent her people to find out more information and is waiting to hear from them. She adds that they don't return for a long time and looks into the distance. She believes that there is no need to wait anymore. Suddenly, zombie bodies fall out of the window of the building. Lu Lai jumps back in fear, covering his mouth with his hand. She begins to tremble. The man looks up at Lu Lai and laughs. He waves and says hello while sitting in the window. Lu Lai looks at him in fear. She is shaking with fear. She asks how he discovered her. Change of frame. Villa Song Ziqiang. Messages from Liu Huai appear on Chen Bai's smartphone. Liu Huai writes that he looked at the instructions from Chen Bai and found a lot of information there. He writes that he has questions about the dark places of his talent and asks if Chen Bai can take a look. Chen Bai replies that Liu Huai sent them. A system notification about Liu Huai's talent appears. This is a talent called SS Rank Dark Wood, the source of vitality, spirituality of the body, and the path to eternal life. The body of the tree is open, -1 to intelligence. Dark spirit revealed, -1 to strength. Chen Bai sits on a chair in the villa. He is happy that it is SS rank. He writes in the message that activating abilities will cost Liu Huai too much, but usually they start with 3-5 points. Liu Huai writes that his suspicions turned out to be true. Chen Bai writes that if the intelligence is below 3, then Liu Huai will not be able to use the tree skill. He writes that the principle is simple and is to increase strength, so Liu Huai should not immediately be scattered with abilities. Liu Huai replies that he has 5 more intelligence points and thanks Chen Bai. Song Ziqiang approaches Chen Bai. He looks at her and asks what happened. She says with a tense look that Lu Lai found out that all the zombies are being collected in a warehouse near the pier. Song Ziqiang adds that Lu Lai has been caught in a trap and is calling them to negotiate. Chen Bai gets up from his chair and asks if Song Ziqiang has been contacted. She is wary. Chen Bai asks why they didn't want to talk to the boss. He looks down at Song Ziqiang gloomily. She prostrates herself in front of him and shouts that she raised Lu Lai, so she cannot betray them. She says that this time Lu Lai was in charge of the operation, which means that the problems arose because of her subordinates. Chen Bai says he will save Lu Lai. Song Ziqiang thanks him with relief and raises his head. Change of frame. Mankai warehouse. Lu Lai sits tied up at a luxurious table. A man stands near the table, pouring wine into a glass, and addresses her by name. The man's name is Xing Meng. He tells Lu Lai not to be so distant because he made it clear to everyone that he won't touch her. He leans on the table and holds a glass of wine in his hand. He adds that if Lu Lai surrenders now, she will become his subordinate. Otherwise, he will make her his toy. Lu Lai fidgets in her chair, tied up. A broken glass lies on the floor, wine flows out of it. Xing Meng walks up to Lu Lai and slips her a glass of wine. He tells her not to refuse and to drink a glass. She turns away and trembles. Xing Meng says that since she doesn't drink wine as a sign of respect, she will get a fine glass. Chen Bai cuts a piece of steak. He is sitting at the table. He says that Xing Meng has no manners since he still hasn't realized that Lu Lai doesn't like wine. Lu Lai and Xing Meng turn their attention to Chen Bai. Xing Meng wonders how Chen Bai got here. Chen Bai asks Lu Lai if she is hungry, says that the steak tastes good and offers it to her. Xing Meng tenses up. Chen Bai feeds the enchanted Lu Lai a piece of steak and promises to bring her home. Xing Meng sits on a chair and holds a glass of wine in his hand. He asks if Chen Bai is from Song Ziqiang's squad. He notes that Chen Bai came so close without Xing Meng even noticing. He asks if Chen Bai is also a pioneer. Chen Bai unties Lu Lai. He calls her out and says that Song Ziqiang's car is already waiting outside. Lu Lai agrees. Xing Meng notes that it seems that Song Ziqiang already belongs to Chen Bai. Chen Bai confirms this. Xing Meng stands up and finds this interesting. He points his empty glass at Chen Bai. He asks if Song Ziqiang really gave up so quickly. He adds that Chen Bai must have special methods of coercion. He pours wine into an empty glass. He invites Chen Bai to join forces. Xing Meng adds that he conquered the cities, and Chen Bai curbed Song Ziqiang. Xing Meng says that all they have to do is deal with the military. He holds 2 glasses of wine in his hands. He says that if Chen Bai helps him become the king of the city, then he will give everything to Chen Bai. Xing Meng offers a drink. Chen Bai refuses. Xing Meng is at a loss. The glasses fall to the floor and break. Xing Meng says that Chen Bai doesn't know, but Xing Meng has S-rank talent. He says that this is a fairly high rank. He asks if Chen Bai also likes fine glasses. Chen Bai spreads his hands. He says he looked around the warehouse. He asks if Xing Meng is collecting zombies here and turning people into them. He says that he feels sorry that people like Xing Meng get incredible talents and become worthless. Chen Bai says that Xing Meng is not worthy of help because Chen Bai has an SSS rank talent. Claws appear above Xing Meng's left hand. He says his talent is called Fighter. He adds that he can absorb the characteristics of creatures he kills for a very long time as he grows in strength. He shows off sparkling blue claws. He says he doesn't know a single person who could resist him. He adds that if Chen Bai has an SSS rank, then he must think he is a god. Chen Bai looks at Xing Meng thoughtfully. He replies that you can say so. He thinks about Xing Meng's talent. He notes that Xing Meng can not only absorb characteristics, but also improve them. He notices that the claws are the weapons Xing Meng uses to do this. Xing Meng swings his clawed hand and runs towards Chen Bai. He shouts that he will take all of Chen Bai's points after his death. There is a clash of forces. Xing Meng flies back. His blow is deflected by Chen Bai's hammer. Xing Meng is angry. His body becomes muscular, causing his shirt to rip. He says that initially his talent only changed his body. Their fists collide, creating blue and purple shockwaves. Mankai Container Terminal. Chen Bai rushes over, striking Xing Meng. He lands on his knees. He attacks Chen Bai with a furious face. Chen Bai raises his fist. Xing Meng stops Chen Bai's fist. Xing Meng says that Chen Bai is good, but he is already at his limit. He says that since Chen Bai has SSS rank talent, let him show what he is worth. He holds back Chen Bai's fists. Chen Bai says that he has already shown it, but Xing Meng has not noticed yet. Xing Meng pushes Chen Bai away and swings, shouting that Chen Bai is stubborn. Chen Bai tenses. Xing Meng hits Chen Bai hard and throws him into the wall. Xing Meng grins. He says that Chen Bai is inferior to him in speed and strength, but tries to hide it. He begins to say that Chen Bai will not be able to deceive him. His claws begin to disappear. He coughs up blood. He sees a lot of system alerts. One of them reports that Xing Meng was affected by such weakenings as photophobia, hydrophobia, failure of thermoregulation, slow reaction, and loss of strength. Xing Meng is dumbfounded and doesn't understand how this is possible. Chen Bai stands up. He says that Xing Meng is strong for lasting so long before being infected. Xing Meng asks what Chen Bai infected him with. He curses at him and concentrates blue energy around himself to attack. Chen Bai pierces his chest with his claws. The purple tentacles from Chen Bai's hand begin to absorb Xing Meng. Chen Bai says that he and Xing Meng are no match. The tentacles completely absorb Xing Meng. Chen reports that the primary awakening of the virus of light and darkness has been completed. That a skill called absorption has been strengthened, so it is possible to choose a development path from memories. Chen Bai says that the stat bonus when activated has now become passive, so his skill has improved quite well. He looks at what else has been added. He sees plus 30 to agility, plus 20 to intelligence, and also that his regeneration has increased by 100%. The system notification reports that the light and darkness virus gives plus 50 points to strength, agility, and health, as well as plus 40 to intelligence and plus 200% to general regeneration. Chen Bai says that each of his stats has increased by 20 points. He looks at his profile in the system. Chen Bai has the title of Pioneer 1. There is a photo of him on his profile. Chen Bai's talent is the king of SSS rank viruses. He has level 2. He has 1950 experience out of 2000. He has 65 plus 3 strength points, 71 plus 3 agility points, 61 plus 3 health points, 48 plus 2 intelligence points. His special skill and luck are unknown. He has 6 gold, 34 silver and 91 bronze coins on his balance. Chen Bai says that he has finally reached basic leveling. He thinks that there is very little time left, and ordinary people with indicators below 5 are already too weak for him. Chen Bai picks up the claw that belonged to Xingmeng. Chen Bai looks at Xingmeng's profile. He notes that Xingmeng had uniforms, a plan, and consumables, which means he was not bad. Chen Bai adds that although Xingmeng has killed many zombies, he would not be able to reach Chen Bai's level. The system notification gives detailed information about Xingmeng's claws. They are called claw zombies and are E-ranked. They give plus 10 points to agility and plus 8 points to strength, as well as vampirism. Additionally, the Shadow Claw skill adds 10% to agility and 20% to attack speed. The requirements for zombie claws are agility of 25 points or higher, and a minimum level of 2. The system notification also shows a blueprint from the rank called Living Nightmare. It requires a zombie claw, mountain flesh, a bombardier's bone, a trader's heart, and a chief executive's brain. Chen Bai looks at the notification while holding a zombie claw in his hand. He says that luck was on Xingmeng's side, but now everything belongs to Chen Bai. It closes the system notification. Change of frame. Night in the warehouse. That day has come. Chen Bai is coming. He had risen from E rank to SSS rank, and the past 3 incidents had given him a lot of experience. Now the fate of the city and Song Ji is in his hands. He approaches the car, near which Song Ziqiang and Lu Lai are standing. Song Ziqiang opens the car door and invites Chen Bai inside. Chen Bai looks to the side with a smirk. In the current world in which Chen Bai lives, it no longer makes sense to deal with monsters before the general awakening. Chen Bai spreads his hands. Violet energy engulfs him. In these last days he will only prepare to meet the new world. Change of frame. Song's estate. Awakening. Chen Bai looks at the city through the panoramic window and remains silent. It's about to start. Chen Bai hears a knock on the door and tells him to come in. The door opens. Enter Song Ziqiang, Lu Lai and Su Zin. Song Ziqiang says that they found everything Chen Bai asked for. Lu Lai says the topographic data and population of the area in the center have been confirmed. She adds that within an hour of waking up, they will have control over him. Su Zin looks at the pieces of paper in her hands. She asks Chen Bai to check the accuracy of the data collected. He turns to the window and says that they themselves have already confirmed everything. Song Ziqiang asks if time is running out and if he needs anything else. Chen Bai replies that he doesn't need anything and they did a good job. He tells them to leave the reports on the table. He looks at his smartphone. He sends a message that there are 10 minutes left before the start, so he reminds no one to go straight into the inferno. He tells you to remain calm and not make any risky moves. He doesn't want everyone to be pulverized in 10 minutes. He is silent with a serious expression on his face. A man in a white hood tags everyone in the chat. A girl with long hair thanks in the chat and writes that there are still 9 minutes left. A man in the gym with dumbbells in his hands writes that there are 8 minutes left and he can't wait. The guy in the mask writes that there are 7 minutes left and everyone needs to be calm. The girl with pink hair writes that she is very worried. A man with the nickname Lightning writes to her not to worry because they are with her, and that there are 5 minutes left. A person with the nickname Crow writes that there are 4 minutes left to wait. A person with the nickname Ding Dong writes that there are already 3 minutes left. Chen Bai raises his head and advises Song Ziqiang and the others to put things aside. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. Song Ziqiang says that everything is happening so quickly that she cannot believe that they are standing on the threshold of a brave new world. Everyone looks at the city through the window. 7 seconds. Someone says that the last day of their former life has ended. 6 seconds. Song Ji stands with Ollie and says that there are 5 seconds left and she is very scared. Ollie calms her down. 4 seconds. Song Ziqiang and Su Zin look out the window tensely. 3 seconds. Lu Lai looks out the window tensely. 2 seconds. Chen Bai says there is 1 second left. June 15th. 0 seconds. The Great Awakening. The city is immersed in scarlet light. The end of the earth is in full swing. Monsters flooded the streets of the destroyed city. They attack and bite people. The surviving people became awakened. 2 men stand back to back and protect themselves with magic from monsters. The awakened received unmatched talents and the opportunity to gain experience, increasing their rank. Monsters kill people. Also, after a series of awakenings, a fierce life and death battle began. Many mysterious places and crevices have formed around the world. A crack appears in the frightening red sky. The plane's engine burns and it crashes. Blessing or curse? It's up to the people to decide. Chen Bai looks at the destroyed city and the falling plane through the panoramic window. People just have to gather their courage and move forward. A system message appears. The binding of the hourglass to the carrier is initialized. Chen Bai looks down in surprise at the small hourglass he wears as a pendant around his neck. He is stunned. He doesn't know what it means. He thinks that this is bad because others should not find out about the watch. He turns to them and tells them to run away. Chen Bai freezes in shock. Lu Lai, Song Ziqiang and Su Zin turn black and white and froze in place. Chen Bai turns around in confusion. He notices that even the falling plane has frozen. Chen Bai is surprised to realize that time has stopped. The hourglass begins to sparkle purple. Chen Bai looks at the hourglass. A bright purple light begins to emanate from them. Watch binding is complete. A system notification appears about the spirit binding of the hourglass. 4 unknown hourglass ability points are locked. The active time return skill allows you to return to any point in the past, while completely erasing the progress of the current timeline. Another skill called rollback gives a return of 72 years, 6 months and 7 days. This time cannot be shortened by any abilities or tools. Chen Bai freezes in surprise. He realizes that going back in time allowed him to be reborn. He realizes that there is a save system there. The system notification informs you that the active hourglass skill called conservation allows you to save the state of body and spirit at any time. Another active skill called read allows you to read your save state without affecting your inventory or memories. Another active skill is unknown and blocked. A spiritual connection is required. Chen Bai is pleased to think that this is a very strong skill with only an hour cooldown. Song Ziqiang dies. It seemed to her that Chen Bai was calling her and the others. She asks how they can be useful. Chen Bai replies that she didn't imagine it and tells them to go check the security of the estate. It closes the system notification. He adds that it is too dangerous at night, so as soon as the first ray of sun falls, they need to be ready to defend. Lu Lai and Song Ziqiang say that they understand everything, and Su Zin nods. Change of frame. Second day. Buildings in the city are burning and collapsing. Song's estate. Chen Bai and Song Ziqiang look down on the monsters at the bottom of the stairs, which are being fought off by the guards. Song Ziqiang takes off with a purple sword in his hand. A system tablet appears with Song Ziqiang's S-rank talent called Amethyst Eye. Another system tablet states that the Eye of Amethyst turns objects into amethyst, used for defense and offense and enhancing a person's spiritual powers. Crystal Clear Crystal allows you to obtain data about the characteristics of the target and increases attributes. Song Ziqiang uses the Amethyst Eye. A system notification appears describing the characteristics of a normal zombie. He has 5 strength points, 3 agility points, 4 health points, and 0 intelligence points. This is a normal male zombie that spreads infection through wounds and bites. His weak point is his head. Song Ziqiang cuts off a zombie's head with a purple sword, raising clouds of dust. Change of frame. Ollie stands on the roof in front of a crowd of monsters. A system plate appears with Ollie's rank a talent, which is called the Path of the Assassin. This talent hides all sounds, increases strength and agility, and also adds 30% to agility in the dark and 100% to attack speed against a specific target. Ollie squats down and holds a red blade in his hands. She bounces, creating a cloud of dust. She quickly dispatches the crowd of monsters with her blade. Change of frame. A man in a jacket carries a survivor in his arms. The main hall of the estate. Su Zin tells the man in the jacket to inject the survivor with the zombie serum while she finishes up the other survivor. Her hands hover over the unconscious guy and emit green light. A system board appears with Su Sun's rank B talent, which is called Quick Recovery. It allows you to recover and also eliminate the consequences of severe injuries in a short time. Change of frame. Small houses surrounded by trees. Chen Bai walks through the door. He says everything is going surprisingly well. Lu Lai replies that it is true, because thanks to Chen Bai's leadership, they were able to take control of the situation. She adds that nothing extraordinary has happened so far. She looks down from the balcony, where there are barricades, small buildings, people, and a truck. Chen Bai comes closer. He says that he is relying on Lu Lai and the others for now, but he has important matters to attend to. Lu Lai agrees. At the same moment, Chen Bai jumps high into the air, leaving Lu Lai on the ground. Change of frame. Mountain trail. The silhouette rushes along the path between the trees. Chen Bai thinks that he is very annoyed by the fact that after waking up, transport and communications stop functioning. He runs quickly along the path. He notes that at his speed he seems to be able to keep up. He thinks that even before his rebirth, a mark hung over the university. The mark looks like something that emits golden and orange light. Chen Bai recalls that only after a while he was able to understand its purpose, but it was already too late. He is determined not to miss the chance this time. Change of frame. Dilapidated buildings. Zhongcheng City University. Chen Bai stands on the street among half-destroyed buildings. Around him lie the bodies of defeated monsters. He looks up. He talks about the mark that all awakened ones would like to see. He thinks that this mark indicates the place where the deity appeared. The mark glows orange in the sky among the clouds. Chen Bai thinks that he arrived just in time. He runs past the burning, dilapidated buildings of the city. He stops when he hears a voice behind him. Someone calls Chen Bai a traveler and tells him to slow down. A man with a mustache, a large nose and jewelry with a large blue stone addresses Chen Bai. He says it's not often that you meet such a strong guy right after waking up. The man says he is a merchant. He adds that he has an offer that is absolutely impossible to refuse. Chen Bai smiles relaxedly. He admits that the merchant has interested him. The merchant holds out his black-gloved hands. He says that he would be honored to bargain with Chen Bai. Chen Bai replies that he spent days and nights looking at the mark, anticipating his meeting with the merchant. Chen Bai spreads his hands. He calls the merchant handsome, intelligent, gentle, caring, courageous, attractive, brave, and kind. He places his right hand on his chest and bows slightly to the merchant. Chen Bai grins. He calls the merchant a trade deity named Mr. Lei Duo. Trade deity Lei Duo looks up to Chen Bai. He clasps his hands together and grins. The white of Lei Duo's left eye is black, and the pupil glows bright blue. University building. Lei Duo hands Chen Bai a green card. He says that he immediately guessed that there was a connection between them, so he gives a gift. He says it's a Goblin Market Gold card and will give you a 12% discount. Chen Bai recalls that in a previous life it was impossible to appease Lei Duo with compliments, but now the opposite is true. He holds out his hands to the card. He thanks Lei Duo. Chen Bai adds that the legends about Lei Duo's generosity turned out to be true. Lei Duo says that since Chen Bai is ready to bargain, he will present his goods to him. System labels appear. One of them depicts an S-rank scroll called the Thunderer. This is a profession that allows you to use the power of thunder and lightning. It opens up an excellent opportunity to destroy all enemies in melee or ranged combat. The price for such a profession is 500 gold. Another system plate shows an S-rank rifle called the Deathbringer. This is a legendary sniper rifle that requires a special class to use. This is a work of art created by the friend of the god of trade, the god of the dwarfs. Chen Bai is stunned. He is surprised that Lei Duo has the legendary profession scroll. He notices that there are also a huge number of rare items in the assortment. He thanks Lei Duo for such a generous offer. Chen Bai then adds with a sad expression that he can't afford it. Lei Duo grins. System labels disappear. Lei Duo says that he knew that after the awakening began, almost everyone would be without money. He adds that all his products are of the highest quality, so the high price is justified. He tells Chen Bai to go earn some money in a couple of days, and then they will agree. Chen Bai is silent. He then says that he cannot afford to buy Lei Duo's goods, but he has heard that the gods cannot directly influence the progress of tests during awakening, so they sponsor pioneers so that they later bring them profit. Lei Duo looks at Chen Bai curiously. Chen Bai asks if Lei Duo came here for this purpose. Lei Duo grins. He says that Chen Bai is quite knowledgeable and asks if he wants money. Chen Bai waves his hand with a pleased expression on his face. He agrees. He adds that he has heard about the incredible treasures of Lei Duo, which no one in their right mind would refuse. He suggests Lei Duo invest in herself. Lei Duo sits down on a luxurious chair. He tells Chen Bai that the money invested in awakening is already profitable. He asks why Chen Bai thought he could bring in more of the income the gods planned. Chen Bai is reflected in Lei Duo's blue eye. Lei Duo says that even the stupidest person will have questions about the effectiveness of such spontaneous investments. Chen Bai activates his powers. Purple tentacles wrap around his right arm, forming claws. Purple tentacles envelop his left arm, creating a large fist. A purple creature with menacing fangs and glowing eyes appears behind Chen Bai. A system sign appears in front of him, informing him that Chen Bai has an SSS rank. Chen Bai asks Lei Duo to look at herself. He adds that this is his collateral. Lei Duo claps his hands contentedly. It celebrates SSS rank talent. He adds that he has never seen anything like this before. He grins contentedly and says that there are a lot of interesting things on this planet. He did not expect that anything here would bring him any income. He says with a laugh that he was very mistaken. Lei Duo gets up from his chair. He says he agrees to give Chen Bai one chance. He tells him not to let him down. Lei Duo adds that if Chen Bai did not have such talent, he would have refused the deal, and Chen Bai would have been forced to wait for other gods. Chen Bai happily asks if he can have the scroll. Lei Du replies that not yet. He adds that talent does not determine the future, because even among the gods there are those who have it below a rank. He waves his index finger in the air. He says that if Chen Bai wants to get maximum profit, then he must prove his power in practice. A system sign appears, which informs that the god of trade Lei Duo offers Chen Bai a task. It's called the final sentence, the first cycle. Chen Bai looks at Lei Duo in surprise. He accepts the task. Lei Du holds a coin on his fist. He says that Chen Bai will be able to summon him after completing the task if he flips this coin. He hopes that Chen Bai will not keep him waiting long. He tosses a coin to Chen Bai. Chen Bai catches her. He asks what other treasures the gods have. Lei Du summons a golden scroll. A system sign appears, informing you that this is an SSS rank scroll of the second profession. It allows you to have 2 professions while simultaneously using skills, abilities, and attribute bonuses. Chen Bai is pleased. Lei Du says they have an agreement. He claps his hands and a blue spark appears. He says he has to go. He adds that he didn't think the day would be special. He hopes everything goes well. He disappears in blue sparks. Change of frame. A system plate appears with a description of the SSS rank task called the final sentence. To get the most out of the investment from the goblins, Chen Bai must prove that he is worthy of it. However, talent is only the first step, so you should be prepared to give your best. The goal of the task is to find and defeat the creatures located on the territory of the university by the god Lei Du. Collect objects from them and take them to Lei Du. The reward will be determined by the god Lei Du. Chen Bai thinks that this is not surprising, because Lei Duo is the god of trade. Chen Bai recalls that in his past life almost everyone knew about Lei Duo. He thinks that if he does everything perfectly, the reward will be better. He wonders if, with the onset of the apocalypse, a replica of the university appeared. He is standing in the middle of the street. He had never heard of the university's copy, most likely because it was well hidden. He looks up thoughtfully. He takes a step forward and decides to start searching. Gym. The door is blocked by a barricade of tables, cabinets, and other things. In the center of the hall, a man is holding a guy by the neck. There are people around. The guy falls to the floor. 2 girls sit on their knees and look at the man in fear. Another guy lies unconscious nearby. The man tells the boys to take off their clothes and beg them to become his slaves. Behind him stands a curly-haired guy and a brown-haired woman. The girls look at the man in fear. He says that otherwise he will kill them. The beaten guys shout that they won't do this. The man clenches his fists and says that this means the guys chose death. He promises to do it quickly. The brown-haired woman puts her hand on his forearm and asks him to stop, calling him Tom. Tom slaps her on the cheek. The brown-haired woman flies to the side. Suddenly the barricade is broken and falls to the floor, raising a cloud of dust. Everyone is stunned. Chen Bai enters the hall. He says that a stupid monkey is going to beat up innocent students. Tom asks if Chen Bai should be beaten too. Chen Bai runs up and swings his purple claws, slicing Tom's chest. Chen Bai says that he prefers to kill such people. The curly-haired guy is about to attack Chen Bai. He attacks back. The brown-haired woman is shocked. Chen Bai holds the curly-haired guy's head. He asks if anyone from the medical school is here. He adds that he is looking for something, so he needs someone with medical training.